Hello Taurus, and welcome to my channel Tarot by Gabrielle. This is going to be a general reading for Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus placements, looking at your connection between you and the person that you are dealing with and are needing to learn the most from right now. We'll be pulling for all three sides of the connection, so we'll look at your energy toward it, their energy toward it, and the energy in between it, the concept being that there are three sides to every story. So we'll be looking at your version of the truth, their version of the truth, and this higher level unbiased truth in the middle. This middle section is looking at what is the deeper purpose of the connection and the best way for you to move forward in order to align further with your higher self. Friendly reminder that these are general readings and they are not here to resonate fully for everyone, and they won't resonate for everyone. So do please remember to take what does resonate, if there is anything, and leave what does not. On that note, the whole reading can be reversed. If that is the case for you, especially if you're a cross watcher, just know that that's totally fine and totally normal. Again, the point is to take what helps and leave what doesn't. Last thing is that any information on the extended reading or on booking a personal reading or coaching session with me is in the description box below. All right, Taurus. Let's see what you guys are dealing with. We're going to start with overall energy with oracle cards, and then we'll dive deeper into the reading with tarot as we progress. So let's start, Taurus, with your side of this connection to the person you're dealing with and are needing to learn the most from right now. Do remember that these connections do not have to be romantic, just whatever resonates with you. So Taurus's side of this connection. Sparks. Wild card. So it's like, it's funny, I just said that they don't have to be romantic, but I'm going to speak about this in a romantic sense because it feels like, like you have a spark before a fire, and it feels like a spark that never turned into a fire, like something that never really got started here. Or like no matter how much you try, you're having a hard time getting the connection like up and running, I guess. I don't know a better way to say that, but it just feels like it stays held back from something more, like there's obviously a desire for more here. Now this wild card energy, it feels like things feel very up in the air for you when it comes to this connection. I feel like there are certain things that are very out of your control when it comes to the connection, and I feel like you see that potential, like for the fire, that potential for the connection, but it just feels like things are stuck in like the beginning phases or like the surface level phases. Even if this connection has been in your life for a long period of time, like it just feels like you can never get past the spark. Okay, so this person's energy toward Taurus, because I feel like you're definitely wanting more from this, wanting more from this person, wanting more from the connection, but it feels very up in the air. This person's energy. It's like, yeah, it's like even if you were with this person for a really long time, it's like it never reached the potential. It never got to the point of like that you thought that it would, or that you had hoped that it would. So they've shattered here. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Okay. Shattered with confusion, boundaries, and divine timing. Okay. Okay. I feel like this person, the best way to say this, I feel like you got too close to them in a way, or you posed a threat, because I feel like this is someone who maybe really puts on a front, wears a mask, pretends to be someone that they're not. And I feel like you kind of shattered that illusion here with the shattered card. I feel like you saw through that, or around you, that mask started to slip, or it was, who they really are started to come out. And I feel like that was really scary for them, almost like they didn't know they had never like experienced that before almost, so they didn't really know how to handle it. Because yeah, with this confusion card, I feel like they're even confused about how they feel, which is hard because I feel like you're confused about how they feel, right? And I feel like that's understandable and normal, but you're, I feel like, looking for clarity from them, or maybe even were looking for clarity from them, and it's like they don't even know how they feel here, or like what to make of all of this, because it's obvious that there are and were feelings here. Now, this divine timing card is interesting because to me, I kind of feel like there was some sort of like rejection that took place here. Either you, like, that you feel rejected by them, or they felt rejected by you when that mask slipped. But I feel like it's the other way around. I was like about to say that, and I felt something holding me back from it. But either way, I feel like they, their behavior here and the reasons why maybe there was rejection, or there was, because with this trapped card, it kind of feels like this person desires more for themselves too, like when it comes to love and relationships, but almost like have absolutely no idea how to go about that. So they're kind of trapped in like, one of the best ways that I can say it is like a prison of their own making. And I see that with this boundaries card. This is like a chain linked fence. It's like, I feel like they have this tendency to keep people at a distance, to keep everyone out, to keep people away. But then there's like this deeper desire of like, well, I desire to be loved. But then as soon as like, because they want to be loved for who they really are, right? But as soon as then people start to see them for who they really are, and that mask starts to slip, I feel like they start to push people away because they're like, oh, that's too close. Like, I don't want you to actually see me. But yet they do want that. It's very confusing behavior. So I'm sure I can imagine only, Taurus, I can only imagine how this has made you feel, because it definitely, yeah, it's definitely confusing. Okay, truth of this connection between Taurus and this person. Ooh. Whoa, 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 whoa. Divine timing. Money versus love with patience. This goes back to what I was saying about divine protection being at play here. It almost feels like what you were desiring out of this connection, because with this money versus love card, it feels like this person checked a lot of the boxes, maybe like on the surface, like looks good on paper, connection aligned, you know, maybe interests aligned, you guys had fun together, whatever the case is. But then below the surface, like when there was like this desire for a deeper emotional connection, or for a deeper commitment, or vulnerability, or more of a partnership, or whatever the case was, it feels like there was a lot that was lacking there. And it almost feels like the universe pushed away this connection for you so that you weren't continuing to be in this place of like, because I feel a lot of anxiety with things feeling really up in the air, with things feeling really unknown. And that anxiety can start to take a toll on like your mental health and the way that you view yourself, because you can start to go, well, what am I doing wrong to make this person not commit or not choose me, or whatever the case is, when in reality it kind of feels like they're fighting their own battle over here. So I do very much feel like there's this divine timing, divine protection kind of at play here in some way. And I don't want to say like there's no chance or anything like that, but I feel like this is like, it's like they're not where they need to be, or I don't know. I want to get more before I start trying to figure all of the nuances out. So Let's get an overall theme for this reading for you, Taurus. What does Taurus need to know about this connection? Ooh. We outgrew each other. Okay, I don't feel like that's as literal, though. Then you have trust the universe, withstand your ground. Okay. One of the best things that my therapist ever taught me is that we cannot take, somebody else's capacity to love or limited capacity to love personally, because it's a reflection of where they're at and not a reflection of us or our value. And I talk about this a lot in my readings, how people can only meet us where they're at. And sometimes we see like that potential of who they could be if they would grow, or if they would heal, or if they would evolve in some way. And we get into the connection hoping that it does evolve into whatever that potential is that we saw. But what we start to realize is that, or what we start to get frustrated with, I guess is a better way of saying that, is that, people very rarely change because we want them to. People change whenever they decide that they need to. And oftentimes it's when staying the same becomes more painful than the idea of change, because humans hate change. Humans love to stay in situations that are similar and predictable, even if they're not what's best for them. So here's what's interesting about this connection is I feel like you got really tired of how things were, because you saw this potential, you saw how things could be, but you got tired of things not getting to that point. And I feel like in turn started to almost take it personally, in the sense that feeling like maybe you weren't enough, or maybe you didn't, you didn't do enough, or you weren't valuable enough or something to be able to be there, or to be able to be whatever this person needed for them to commit, to choose you, to whatever the case was. And I feel like eventually, their capacity became too overwhelming for you, their limited capacity, because it's like you have grown, you've healed, you've evolved, right? And so you're kind of up here, and I'm not saying you're above them or you're better than them, okay? Because that's spiritual egotism, or egoism. It's not healthy to be like, oh, well, I've grown, therefore I'm better than this person, okay? But what I'm getting at with this is, as you heal, as you evolve, as you grow, you are going to start to require more from the people around you, from your relationships, from your life. And whenever you're dealing with someone who isn't growing or isn't healing or isn't evolving, they're not able to meet you there. So you're here, and this person still has some evolution to go through, and you're desiring, you're trying to pull them up with you. But what happens is you start to drown yourself. You start to get back down to where they are, trying to pull them up with you. And that can lead to, like I said, mental health issues, and, starting to affect your sense of self and things of that nature. It's when we start to kind of lose ourselves in connections. But I'm sure there's a lot more to it than that. But that was a lot just for overall energy. So let's see here, Taurus. Your side of the connection sparks with wild card. This is Taurus's energy toward the person they are dealing with, or needing to learn the most from right now. All right, Taurus, right out of the gate, you have this King of Cups. And I feel like this is representing your level of emotional intelligence. It's like, I feel like you're very empathetic. You have that emotional intelligence. You're able to kind of understand and empathize with other people. And I feel like that's both a blessing and a curse for you, because I feel like that means that you can kind of see and understand like why people are the way they are, why they act the way that they do. But I feel like it starts to be a problem whenever you over prioritize what somebody else is experiencing and under prioritize what you're experiencing. So you have this King of Cups with the Three of Pentacles. Yes, you could be dealing with a water sign, Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio. But in this message in particular, I really see this as kind of like your emotional intelligence being a really strong like character trait, if you, I don't know if emotional intelligence is necessarily a character trait, but just a strong trait that you have. And I feel like what you're desiring with this Three of Pentacles talking about partnership, equal partnership. I feel like you're desiring somebody who can match that. Somebody who can match your level of emotional intelligence, who can be open, who can be communicative and vulnerable and all of the things that you need. And I feel like you saw that potential in this person to be that. But I feel like they were closed off for the majority of this connection. And I think that you held on for a really long time. So then you have the Hangman in reverse with the Knight of Cups in reverse. I feel like you hung on to this connection for a really long time, out of hopes of what it could be. But it's like over time, it just became more and more triggering because you became more and more frustrated with the limited capacity that this person was presenting. So you were like, it's almost like you were like, I can't continue to ask, like, I can't teach you how to, respect me or treat me or whatever the case is. And we do teach people how to treat us for sure based on what we are and aren't willing to accept. But I more mean like constantly talking someone through, how to be there for you, what you need, what you desire. Because especially if you feel like you get to a point where you're saying it over and over again and you're like, I just need you to be there for me. I just need you to do these things. And they continue not to. Like, that's incredibly frustrating whenever you are asking for needs to be met and you're asking for somebody to be there for you and you're just not getting that. And I feel like over time, because you have this Eight of Wands with the Four of Swords in reverse here, you became really, really drained. I feel like your soul is drained from this connection because you poured so much into it, trying to be a good partner, trying to be there for this person. I'm not saying you were perfect and you didn't make mistakes, but I do feel like you were showing up in the best way that you could to, be what you felt that this person needed. But in the process of that, I feel like you really lost, it's like you knew that you weren't getting what you needed, but you felt that maybe if you were a good enough partner or friend or whatever to them, that eventually you would get what you needed. And I think that left you eventually very empty-handed because you got to a point where you were like, well, now I have nothing left to give because I've given you everything I have and you've given me nothing, or you've given me the bare minimum that I've just given right back to you. So eventually you became really drained from this connection because so much of what you were looking for, what you were hoping for, and it never, like I said, like with the Sparks card, it's like it never progressed into it. And with this Wild card, it was like there was this hope, obviously, here, and you were holding on for that hope and holding on for what it could be, but it just never became that. And I think that you eventually got to this place where maybe you felt like, okay, well, obviously if this person isn't making changes, or if they're not healing, or if they're not growing, or if they're not whatever, then that must mean that I'm not good enough, or that must mean that whatever the case might be. Because I do feel like it started to impact your like sense of self in some way here. But let's dive into what this person has going on, because I'm certainly curious to know what was happening here. This person's energy toward Taurus. And you do have trust the universe with this divine timing. So that to me is like two messages of divine timing being at work, divine timing, divine guidance being at work in your love life. Divine protection. This person's energy toward you, Taurus. Wheel of Fortune in reverse. The Ten of Cups and the Nine of Pentacles. So I feel like they really... So why the hell... Okay, hang on. Ten of Cups and Nine of Pentacles with the Wheel of Fortune in reverse. they really saw the potential in this too. I feel like there's a lot of desire that this person has to make this connection work, to make it be what you both saw it could be. But there it is, the Nine of Swords. Anxiety and insecurity got in the way here. I feel like, because then they have this Wheel of Fortune in reverse. So what happened? I want to know. There's the Ten of Swords. There's the Ten of Wands. What the heck? Oh. Okay. Four of Cups. Emperor in reverse. Okay, yeah, that tells a story for sure. This person has some baggage from their past. They've been through some stuff, right? And I feel like that baggage, because I feel like that, I don't know if it's like, because with the Ten of Swords, like maybe they've experienced betrayal before or abandonment or just something that was really painful in their past. And they carry this with them. And deep down, they desire that love. And I feel like they saw with this Ten of Cups and Nine of Pentacles, this and this connection, just as much as you did. But again, this was never reached, right? Especially with this Wheel of Fortune in reverse, it kind of feels like things fell apart. It kind of feels like things went the wrong way, took a wrong turn, if you will. And I feel like it came from this person's fear and anxiety of getting hurt the way that they had been in the past. So one of the first things I want to say is that 95% of our movements, choices, and decisions stem from our subconscious, right? Only 5% or according to psychology, only 5%-ish of our movements, choices, and decisions stem from our conscious decision making. So a lot of times when we have like past wounding and past trauma, if we have not healed those things, we've then instead have internalized them, and they become the driving source of our decisions, of our actions. And I feel like, and I said this at the beginning, that you got too close, or you started getting too close, because I feel like because this person had been hurt in the past, they like really put this armor on. And this armor was their protection mechanism. It kept everybody away. It kept them feeling safe so that they never had to go back to that place that they experienced, that painful experience that they had. And I feel like they did a really good job at keeping people out until you came along. And then again, I feel like you kind of matched this idea of like, wow, this could actually be a dream come true, but that how good things could possibly be equaled to this person how much it could hurt if this wasn't reached. So instead of like dealing with that fear and working through these emotions and understanding them and having the emotional intelligence to be able to work through it all, I feel like what they did was they ran from it. With the Emperor in reverse, they did what they could to gain control. They did what they could to be safe in their own world of being safe. That's where we saw that trapped card. That's where they're trapped, is they're trapped in this prison of their own making, where they're like, well, I desire love, but anytime there's a potential for it, I actually am going to push it away because those feelings of that potential scare me. The potential of, because when you meet someone that you really care about, or that you see potential in, there's both the potential of things being really good, but also the potential of things, not going well. There's always a potential of heartbreak. There's always a potential of things not working out. And love is a risk. Relationships are a risk. Trust is a risk, but it is a risk worth taking. And I feel like you get to the point where you feel that way whenever you can heal from past situations and understand how they were in some way helping you grow, right? So that takes a willingness to go within and to look at, things that maybe this person, because with the Four of Cups, it kind of feels like their attention is on like the wrong things. It feels like their attention is on what can I do to protect myself instead of what can I do to learn to trust again? What can I do to open myself up to the love that I do deeply desire? And I feel like that's something that they're going to have to handle in their own way. That's why they're confused about how they feel, because they're like, well, I really desire love and I see that potential in this person, yet I feel like pushing it away because that's what feels safe, right? And I feel like that pattern that they're stuck in, it literally has nothing to do with you. So if you feel rejected or pushed away or frustrated because of this person's behavior behavior, you feel like you did everything you could, but it still wasn't enough, it's because it wasn't about you. This person has some things that they need to work through before they are going to be capable of giving and receiving love in a healthy way. And that's something that they're going to do on their own time whenever they decide to do it, if they decide to do it at all. A lot of people go through this life without healing at all. A lot of people go through this life staying emotionally unavailable, staying emotionally unintelligent, because it is easier. Ignorance is bliss. It is so much easier to be unaware and to not have to change and to not have to face these things. I guess technically it's easier in the sense that it's easier in the short term, harder in the long term. But I do feel like what's so interesting about where this person is at is there's this deep desire here for this connection to work, yet there's also this almost like instinct to push it away because of the things that they've dealt with in their past and the ways that those insecurities from their past drive their decision making in relationship. And I started out this reading with saying that one of the best things my therapist ever taught me was not to take somebody else's capacity to love personally, because where they're at and where their capacity is a reflection of how much they've healed and how much they've grown. It's not a reflection of how valuable you are. But the problem arises whenever we start to see that potential and our goal is to be and do whatever we can to pull that potential to the surface. But then what happens is, like I said, you can't, especially if you're dealing with somebody who's kind of like drowning here, like this person is, you can't save somebody who's drowning who isn't trying to save themselves, because all that's going to do is drown you. And I feel like that's kind of what did happen in this connection over time. But in between it, you have money versus love with divine timing. We're going to dive deeper into it, looking at the deeper purpose and the best way for you to move forward in order to align with your higher self to attract the love that you deserve and desire. Any information for that is in the description box below. Thank you so much, Taurus, as always, for your support of my channel. I do obviously hope that this reading helped and resonated with you in a way that you were needing today. And as always, I wish you nothing but love and healing and all of the wonderful things that you deserve and desire on your journey moving forward. All right, bye, Taurus.